Julie and her mother had left Vienna. Now I was living in a Wohngemeinschaft. The Wohngemeinschaft is a communal apartment. I could stay for 4 months. The window of my room. My room. It was full of light. I had a double bed, a bureau, and a desk. For the first time in a long time, I had my own space. It was really nice. My 8 housemates were 8 men, all homosexuals. Franz, me, Andreas, Martin, Marcus, Klaus, Manfred, Jan, Dieter. I had been in Austria for over a year and a half. I had abandoned my punk look. I no longer wanted to be marginal. Marjane, it's your mother on the phone. I'm coming. What? Oh, my mother. What about your mother? She's coming to see me. That's great. When? In 2 weeks. Even though it had been 19 months since I had seen my mother, the 15 days of waiting were very long. The day of her arrival, I bathed like never before. I ironed my clothes for the first time. I made myself as beautiful as I could before going to meet her at the airport. I saw from afar a woman who looked like her, the same silhouette, the same walk, but with gray hair. My mother was a brunette. When this woman got close, there wasn't any doubt. It was really her. Before I left home, Mom only had a few gray hairs. It's incredible what time does to you. Mom! I didn't know if she hadn't recognized me or hadn't heard me. In any case, she didn't stop. Mom! Margie? She hadn't recognized me, and with good reason. I'd almost doubled in height and size. Oh my dear, you are so tall. Mom, you've gone gray. It felt strange to take her in my arms. Our proportions had been reversed. With the others' permission, I brought her to stay with me. I live here, you'll see. You'll like it. My housemates are very nice. They're very excited at the thought of meeting you. Hi. Hello. Hi, welcome. How are you? Hello. Make yourself at home. This is my room. We'll share the same bed. It's nice. I hadn't understood that your housemates were men. In Persian grammar, there's no gender. Masculine and feminine are interchangeable. It's amazing how you've grown. I didn't repeat that she too had changed. At her age, you don't grow up, you grow old. Just like that, you live with 8 men. Don't worry, Mom, they're all homosexuals. Homosexuals? I had told her that to reassure her, and I think that, despite the shock, she was appeased. Besides, I surprised her one day in the midst of teaching I love you in Persian to friends who had just met an Iranian guy. Dostet daram. Oh, you understand, or? Dostet daram. No, Recounting 19 months in a few days isn't easy. We had to talk a lot to make up for lost time. Our conversations were always disjointed. Tell me, how's Dad? What's he doing? Oh, he takes care of the gas in Tehran's buildings. It frustrates him a little. You know your father specialized in the construction of steel factories. But during wartime, there's no point in building. Is he happy anyway? Yes, he's okay. He misses you enormously. But he's happy that you're living here, far from the problems. Mom, where's your necklace? My mother always wore a golden pendant that Dad had given her for their 10th wedding anniversary. I left it in Iran. You see, we don't have the right to take anything of value out of the country. I learned later that she had lied to me. You don't like what I made? No, I love it. I'm just not very hungry. There again, she was lying. After this day, she never again let me do the cooking. Here, a letter from your father. I'm not the one who opened it. It's the customs in Tehran. They check everything. In the letter, he was overjoyed by the thought that I had a peaceful life in Vienna. If you only knew. I had the impression that he didn't realize what I was enduring. We often went walking, my mother and I. How is our country doing? Sigh, still the same. Bombings, arrests. We're so used to it that the calm here makes me a little nervous. Do you remember our neighbors, the Kianis? They bought a house in Dimavend. When we hear that there's going to be an airstrike, we take refuge at their house. The air is very pure up there. We have a good time. How good it feels to walk without a veil on my head, without the worry of being arrested over 2 locks of hair or my nail polish. She never asked me any questions about my situation, certainly out of a sense of restraint, and also because she was scared of the answers. If she had sacrificed herself so that I could live freely, the least I could do was behave well. So when words failed us, gestures came to our aid. I love my mom. She loves you too. I'm happy to see you so well settled here. Now you must make an effort. You must become somebody. I don't care what you do later. Only try to be the best. Even if you become a cabaret dancer. Better that you dance at the Lido than in a hole in the wall. While we're on the subject, did you know your uncle, Masood, is living in Germany? In Germany? But that's next door. He didn't want to come visit us? He's very depressed. In Iran, he was somebody. Mr. Chartered Accountant. In Germany, they think he's a Turk. At our age, it's difficult to start over at zero. I remember the days when we traveled around Europe. It was enough to carry an Iranian passport. They rolled out the red carpet. We were rich before. Now, as soon as they learn our nationality, they go through everything, as though we were all terrorists. They treat us though as we have the plague. A few days later at the Cafe Hawalka, give me a cigarette. Don't play the innocent with me. I know you smoke. What makes you think that? You smell like smoke, and I saw a packet of Camels in your bag. You went through my things? I'd been living alone too long to accept any invasion of my privacy. Come on, give me that cigarette. I decided to let it go. I knew she was leaving in 20 days, and I didn't want to regret anything. Here's your cigarette. It's maybe ridiculous to ask you this question now, but what really happened with the nuns? Like I told you, they said that Iranians don't have any education, and I answered back that they were all prostitutes. Well done. Under normal circumstances, she would surely have reprimanded me for insulting people. You won't do it again, right? Of course not. When you see your parents rarely, all is forgiven. My stay at the Wangen Mineshaft was temporary. I had to find new lodgings. Margie, I passed by the university. I saw an ad for a room in the 13th quarter. We went there that afternoon. Hans Nies Weg 1. Hello. I'm Fra, Dr. Heller. Miss Satrapi? Here, the rent is 2,000 shillings. She can use the kitchen and the bathroom, which she'll share with 3 roommates, 2 English musicians, and an American architecture student. All the terms suited us. Take good care of my daughter. Of course, Miss Satrapi, of course. And at the tram stop, What did you think of the tea? Like horse piss. Her too, she looked like a horse. Horse piss from a horse face. Even today, this infantile joke brings tears to our eyes. I spent 27 days by her side. I tasted the heavenly food of my country, prepared by my mother. It was a change from pasta. She stroked my hair every night to put me to sleep. It relaxed me to talk to her. It had been so long since I'd been able to talk to someone without having to explain my culture. The eve of her departure. My dear, you won't insult Dr. Heller, right? I promise. Buy yourself fruits and vegetables. You must eat well. It's not for nothing that we say a healthy mind is a healthy body. Look, I made some sketches inspired by our window shopping. I'll make you some outfits. You're in need of some new ones. Ever since my arrival in Austria, I hadn't bought myself anything, and given my growth spurt, my clothes no longer fit me. Then came the dreaded day of departure. I was sad, but well, I'd begun to get used to separations. My mother left. I'm sure that she understood the misery of my isolation, even if she kept a straight face and gave nothing away. She left me with a bag of affection that sustained me for several months. Frau Dr. Heller's house was an old villa, built by her father, a 1930s sculptor of some renown. The big terrace that looked out on the garden was my favorite place. I spent some very pleasant moments there. Only the excrement of Victor, Frau Dr. Heller's dog, disturbed this harmony. On average, he defecated once a week on my bed. Dr. Heller, do you have any idea? It's the 5th time in a month. It's unacceptable. Why don't you train him? Yes, well, I'm going to have the sheets changed. I often forgot that he was too old to learn anything. You are really very uptight. All my friends had left our school. Julie was in Spain. Derry and Olivier had gone back to Switzerland, and Momo had been expelled. I was alone at school, but I didn't care. My lack of interest in others made me more interesting. How's it going, Marjane? Fine. Ever since I'd seen my mother, I didn't need anyone. Well, almost. Do you want to walk home together? No, my boyfriend's coming to get me. His name was Enrique. I'd met him through Dieter, one of my former housemates. Enrique was half Austrian, half Spanish. What do you say about going to an anarchist party this weekend? Of course, I'd love to. Enrique was 20 and played the piano. I liked him a lot. There'll be about 20 of us. It'll be cool. Do you know all of them? Yes. Learning that he knew real anarchists only intensified my feelings for him. A revolutionary anarchist party. It reminded me of the commitment and the battles of my childhood in Iran. Even better, it would perhaps allow me to better understand Bakunin. I was counting the hours. Finally, the big day arrived. After an hour and a half on the road, we arrived in the middle of the forest. In the distance, I saw a group of adults chasing one another and shouting, "You're it! You'll never get me! Catch me if you can!" What a disappointment! My enthusiasm was quickly replaced by a feeling of disgust and profound contempt. So these are the anarchists? What do you think? At this instant, my love for Enrique suffered a devastating blow. Come, we're going to join in the game. Come on, you'll see. We'll have a good time. I'm really not in the mood for a party. Enrique insisted. I finally gave in. We played hide and seek, then volleyball. To wrap up the party, we grilled sausages while singing Janis Joplin. The sausages and the music were good. I was in love again. Then we went inside to go to sleep. Good night, all. Sweet dreams. We're all going to sleep here? It embarrassed me to sleep with Enrique in front of all these people. I came from a culture where even kissing in public was considered a sexual act. Here, Marjane, let me introduce you to Ingrid. Delighted to meet you, Marjane. There's a room upstairs. You can sleep there if you like. Yes, thanks. That's kind of you. She's very cute, your girlfriend. I know. Good night, lovebirds. Until that night, my relationship with Enrique was strictly platonic. I had grown up in a country where the sex act was never consummated until after marriage. For Enrique, it wasn't a problem. We satisfied ourselves with tender kisses. But this night was different. I felt ready to lose my innocence. And too bad if no Iranian ever marries me. I live in Europe and I'll marry a European. I didn't want to be a timid virgin any longer. Unfortunately, the next morning, I was as much a virgin and as timid as the night before. Nevertheless, I tried my best. It's my fault. I'm so unbelievably ugly. I'm sure that's why he didn't want me. I didn't see any other explanation. I'm ugly, I smell, I'm terrible, I'm hairy. I went to join him so we could talk. Ingrid. I had just found another explanation. He was in love with Ingrid. Hi, my sweet pea. I didn't want to wake you. You were sleeping so peacefully. Are you okay? Yes. I have some things to do. See you later. See you. Why are you so sad? I know. Come. I need to talk to you. He's going to tell me that he's marrying that fat cow. Come. He's going to tell me that she is the love of his life. That I'm like a sister to him. Marjane, I adore you. Thanks to you, I've discovered something very important. I'm listening. I haven't told anyone. I wanted to share this secret with you first. It's true? You didn't even tell Ingrid? No. Here it is. I think I'm gay. What? You too? It was inconceivable. First, my 8 housemates, and now my boyfriend. To think that all men I knew found love amongst themselves. If it didn't work with you, it wouldn't work with anyone. I never really knew who I was. You removed all my doubts. I swear it's not you. I think you're pretty, attractive, sweet. It's me. I promise you it's me. Nevertheless, somewhere inside, I was reassured. It was easier to accept that he was gay than that he had a preference for Ingrid or he found me ugly. I'm happy for you. What else could I say? Promise me that we'll always be friends. I promise. I gave my word, but I was too young to keep it. This chaste love affair frustrated me more than it satisfied me. I wanted to love and be loved for real. I lost touch with Enrique, but his anarchist friends adopted me. My life was split between them, my school, and Fraud Dr. Heller's house. The communal life went hand in hand with the use of all kinds of mood enhancers. Weed, hash. I tripped every weekend, and you could see it on my face. My physics teacher, Yonel Aroaz, was worried about me. Marjane, are you okay? You can talk to me if you like. At home, there's a war. I'm scared for my parents. I'm alone, and I feel guilty. I don't have much money. My uncle was assassinated. I saw my neighbor die in a bombing. I sensed that he didn't believe me. He must have thought that I was exaggerating. I persisted anyway. I needed to talk so much. Then I live in this crazy woman's house. My boyfriend. Enough, it's okay. Would you like to come over for lunch at our house on Saturday? My mother will be there too. I accepted. At his house, I played with his twins, Johanna and Caroline. I spent a long time talking to Miss Aroas, my teacher's mother, a French woman of Jewish Moroccan origins. I understand how hard it is for you. You have to make 3 times the effort of anyone else to succeed. That's the immigrant lot. It was the same for me when I arrived in France. Be strong. All will go well for you. I hope to see you soon. But we never saw each other again. Yonel's wife didn't like me. She must have thought that I was making up stories, so I was never again invited over. After my romantic disappointment with Enrique, I understood Julie better when she talked about the negative effects of a platonic affair on her mother. I had grasped the necessity of a carnal relationship, but after this incident, what was I to do? I felt even more unlovable and had even less self-confidence. And then one day, a new student arrived in my class. His name was John Paul. I liked him. Marjane, would you like to grab a drink this weekend? You and me? Who else? When? Well, this weekend, Saturday perhaps. We arranged to meet at Cafe de la Europe at 6 o'clock. I put on my best clothes. I was so excited that I got there an hour early. He was half an hour late. At last. Hi, what are you reading? Oh, it's you. I hadn't noticed. Have you been here long? No, I just got here. I really liked him. So, how are you? Fine, and you? I'm okay, it's just, I'm experiencing a great lack of affection. I was hoping to move him enough that he'd take my hand, conspicuously placed on the table, while saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." Instead, he said, "Everything comes to he who waits." I didn't really understand what he was trying to say, so I waited. And after 10 minutes of waiting, listen, I didn't get our last math class on logarithms very well. I have some questions to ask you. I had to remain dignified. I explained everything as naturally as possible. For example, the logarithm of 100 equals 2 because 10 to the second power equals 100. We were together until 9 o'clock, talking about functions and trigonometry. This was very nice. Thanks, and see you soon. What did you think, you stupid girl? You think that a guy like him could be interested in a girl like you? What an imbecile. How could I have been so delusional? The following weekend, I was back at the commune. Where were you the past 2 weeks? Why didn't you come see us? One of my teachers invited me over, and last week I saw a friend. Ingrid, my former enemy, had now become a great friend. She taught me transcendental meditation with her. I spent my time either meditating or tripping. I didn't always like it, but I by far preferred boring myself with her to having to confront my solitude and my disappointments. Little by little, I became the portrait of Dorian Gray. The more time passed, the more I was marked. But this kind of decadence was pleasing to some, and that's how I met the first great love of my life. Hey Marjane. His name was Marcus. He was studying literature. At least I was sure that he didn't want to see me because of his math problems. What are you doing on Saturday? I'm going to see my friends in the country. Why? Do you want to go to a club? Sure, why not? This time I didn't make any effort at all. I didn't put on my best clothes, and I arrived an hour late. I had given up. I thought that you wouldn't come. I'm happy that you're here. Do you want to dance? No, I don't like dancing. Actually, I don't like clubs. We danced anyway. You're so beautiful tonight. What a liar. Aside from the fact that we were both only children, we didn't have anything in common. I was uncomfortable. Happily, this pathetic situation didn't last long. The club closed at 2:30 in the morning. If you want, I can take you home, but I need to fill up first. Shall we split it? Okay. Nothing surprised me anymore. Even paying for gas so that my white knight could drive me home seemed completely normal. You know what I love about you? Your rebellious side. And your natural nonchalance. Thanks. Then, things always happen when you least expect. It was happiness. I finally had a real boyfriend. I was over the moon one night at Marcus' house. I'm going to write a play. Oh yeah? I'd love to be in it. When suddenly, was Mak si kier si mug ras jimin. It was his mother. Marcus didn't have a father. She thought I didn't understand German. She was saying that I had to go Ross outside. I already heard this threatening word yelled at me in the metro. Du Shieb Auslanderin Ge Ross. It was an old man who said, "Dirty foreigner, get out." I had heard it another time in the street, but I tried to make light of it. I thought that it was just the reaction of a nasty old man. But this was different. It was neither an old man destroyed by the war, nor a young idiot. It was my boyfriend's mother who attacked me. She was saying that I was taking advantage of Marcus and his situation to obtain an Austrian passport, that I was a witch. I think she never looked at herself in the mirror. La Bans and Rua. She ordered me to leave them alone, her and her son. Ross, each sage Ross. Then threw me out. Go on home. I'll come see you tomorrow at your house. Marcus must have been suffering more than I. He had to sacrifice his relationship with his mother to continue to see me. I didn't want to add to it, so I said nothing. At my house, it wasn't much better. You don't have anything to smoke? No, now that I don't see Ingrid. It's so stupid my mother cut off my allowance. Really? Get Ross. Here is Night in Newton Haas. What do you think? You think I don't know anything about your secret prostitution? Have you no shame? He's my boyfriend. Of course, it's obvious. What? To you? True Austrians don't go out with girls like me, is that it? You would have made Freud an excellent patient. Frau Dr. Heller was a crackpot. She was a real psychopath, a crazy woman. I really wanted to insult her, but I had promised my mother that I wouldn't. So I insulted her very strongly in Persian. She didn't understand anything, and I got to let off steam. Marcus and I didn't know where to go. We often ended up in his car, where we smoked joints to distract ourselves. Listen, I heard of a cafe where we can buy cheap hash. Do you want to go see? I can't find anywhere to park. Of course, here's 200 shillings. No, it's okay, I've got money. I went in. I was very scared. It was the first time that I'd set foot in such a sordid place. But it wasn't a big deal after all. I was doing it for love. Excuse me, I want 2 bags for 200 bucks. Follow me. Here. Thanks. Marcus was proud of me. So proud that he told the whole school that his girlfriend had contacts at Cafe Camera. This is how, for love, I began my career as a drug dealer. Hadn't I followed my mother's advice to give the best of myself, I was no longer a simple junkie, but my school's official dealer.